to understand the current move by the Israeli government on Gaza. I hear they talk about expanding incursion into Gaza, military incursion into Gaza. Help us understand why we are where we are right now.
Israel is now putting pressure on the Hamas regime in Gaza to relinquish power and to release the hostages. Let's remember, for over 500 days, Hamas has been holding onto 59 hostages who are being starved and tortured and sexually abused and in some cases executed in these underground tunnels. And the IDF is now putting pressure on Hamas, saying we are going to demolish Hamas's military machine, because Hamas is promising to do more and more October 7th massacres, and Israel is saying, not going to happen. We're not going to live next to this jihadist regime anymore.
Well, that's tough. I mean, we've been on this for over a year right now. Why has it been so difficult for Israel to get these hostages out?
It's been very difficult to get the hostages out because they're being held in underground tunnels by terrorists who have orders to execute them if the IDF gets close. And that means that the terrorists are demanding a ransom in order to get the hostages out. We managed to get 33 hostages out recently by paying a ransom. We released over 1,000 convicted terrorists from jail, despite knowing they're going to go back into terrorism. We also agreed to a pause in the fighting. But Hamas is trying to use the hostages as leverage to get a bigger ransom from Israel, to force it to release terrorists from jail and to end the war in a way that leaves Hamas on its feet, free to plan the next attack and the next invasion of Israel. So Israel is now saying we're going back to military pressure. We're going to negotiate, but only under fire. Hamas needs to release the hostages, and until it releases the hostages, we're going to continue attacking its military machine.
Are we saying that all diplomatic?
Eylon, one of the concerns of the global community is the fact that in the midst of all of these operations, we see what we call collateral damage. But in this case, it's beyond what you would refer to as collateral damage. Children are affected, mothers are affected, and even civilians are affected. So what is the Israeli government doing to ensure, military doing to ensure that all of this is averted or perhaps kept at a minimum? Because if you go through the Western media, if you go across their websites, you listen to news on every Western media platform, it appears as though the tide has turned against the Israeli government.
Israel is doing more than any military in the history of warfare to keep enemy civilians safe from their own leaders. That's not me saying it. That's every military expert who has looked at the battlefield. Israel is fighting in a battlefield in which Hamas deliberately hides its fighters underneath civilian buildings. They fight wearing civilian clothes, and they prevent civilians from escaping. So it's no wonder that civilians are being hurt when their government, Hamas, has a deliberate strategy of trying to get them hurt. It sounds sick, but that's the truth, because we're fighting a jihadist death cult. This is an Islamist militia, not a freedom movement. So what is Israel trying to do? It's trying to separate the civilians from the terrorists. It's just ordered an evacuation of civilians from Rafah, a Hamas stronghold, to a humanitarian zone. It's urging civilians to go to the humanitarian zone so that Israel can attack Hamas when it isn't able to hide among civilians. That's what the world did when it fought ISIS in Mosul. Civilians were cleared from the center of Mosul, and then the world was able to attack ISIS. You can't destroy Hamas completely if it still has civilians it's using as human shields. So Israel is trying to separate the civilians from the terrorists so we can destroy the Hamas regime and bring this war to an end.